Hey guys, what's up? It's Or here, and today's video is going to be all about RuneScape settings. Now, I have a video about this as one of my first YouTube videos, and a lot has changed since then, so I decided to come back with even more RuneScape settings that will change your life and make things so much more easier, whether it's PVM, skilling, or just general quality of life. So many people have never ventured into the dreaded settings menu, and it can seem like a really daunting place, especially for new players. But even the best of the best top tier players, trust me, there's settings that you don't even know exist. I found so many things that I didn't even know about when I made this video, so let's get into them now. So the first setting we're going to talk about is the hide familiar option. How many of you have had this happen to you? You're PVMing with a familiar and you accidentally click on the familiar to interact with it and it messes you up completely. Well, that's because you don't have the hide familiar option enabled. Go to your settings and go to the combat and action bar part and go to the choose option menu. Then check off the hide familiar options box. This will now make it so that your familiar can't be clicked, so you won't ever accidentally click it. This can get extremely annoying for bigger familiars, so I know many of you already probably have this option enabled, but if you don't, now you know exactly how to do it. By the way, if it's your first time here and you're looking to progress your account for PVM or make more money on RuneScape 3, subscribe now so you don't miss a thing. So the next setting is located under the combat and action bar settings and under targeting. Now this setting is called target cycling, and basically it will allow you to change your target without ever clicking. You can set your keybinds for targeting forwards and targeting backwards. This is great at places like Elite Dungeons when you want to AoE and target the right monster. This even allows you to get off super fast hits like at Virago, or you can target cycle at phase 5 Telos. This is just a very helpful thing for PVM in a lot of scenarios, and not many people actually know about this. So the next setting is one that actually came into the game recently, and it's located in the interfaces and buff bar settings, and this is the buff bar icon size. Now a lot of these things have already been here for a while, like being able to choose exactly what you want to display on your buff bar if you want to, take things off or add more things, but the buff bar icon size is a huge game changer for people with bigger monitors, or if you just have trouble seeing your buff bar in general. As you can see, you can increase the size of the buff bar pretty easily, and it's a nice little quality of life changer. So the next setting is located in the item drop section and under loot beams, and this is pretty common, but it basically allows you to customize the value of when your loot beam shows. So basically you can set this to any value between 1k and 1 million GP, and then loot beams will only show for a certain value. So if you're someone who doesn't want to see loot beams unless it's a big drop, you can set this to 1 mil. If you're someone who wants to kill a unicorn and see a big loot beam, then you can set this to 1k and you'll get one. Don't worry, I won't judge you. Next, we have a setting that's under the skills and experience menu and under the Slayer options, and this is the Reaper assignment settings. Now I know a lot of you probably do your Reaper every day, but did you know about these settings? Well, the first one lets you enable group assignments so you can get bosses like Virago, Rise of the Six, and stuff like that. However, a lot of people actually don't want group bosses, so you can turn that off as well. There's also a new option to enable skilling assignments, which as of now is just the new Croceus boss, but maybe more will come in the future. And the best one in my opinion is to be able to enable larger Reaper tasks, which make you receive a 25% bonus to Reaper points after completing any assignment, but you'll have to kill double the amount. This is totally worth it in the long run, especially if you do a lot of Reaper, so these settings are really, really nice. So are you tired of broadcasts cluttering up your chat box? Well, there's an option for that too. Under the messages and social settings, you can go to the broadcast setting for each subsection. For instance, you can go to world and turn off everything so you'll never see drops in your world, or you can only see treasure trails. Basically, customize it to however you want and however fits you. If you just want to see your friends' broadcasts, then you can go to that tab and check off everything so you never miss another drop from your friends. On the other hand, if you absolutely hate your friends and can't stand them, you can check them off so you can ignore them forever and be lonely. Next, we have a very underrated setting called the action bar binding. This totally changed my life, and it's under the combat and action bar settings and under action bar binding. Here, you can basically bind an action bar to your ability bars. This is a game changer for things like Dagannoth Kings, Rex Matriarchs, or anywhere that you are using different styles and need to switch action bars. Basically, what this does is you can set your, let's say, magic action bar to automatically swap to it when you equipped a two-handed magic weapon. This means no more manually switching your action bars. Your weapons will do it for you. This is super underrated setting that you'd be surprised how many people don't actually know this exists. If you did know this existed, leave a like. Okay, but if you did know this existed and you're super smart, also leave a like. So now we have a setting that I personally cannot live without. I cannot play the game without it, and that is the camera mode freedom classic setting. Now this is under the camera options and under camera mode. And basically I'm not sure what mode is the default mode that you get when you first start playing, but the mode that I have used forever and basically cannot live without is the freedom classic camera mode. Now, this mode has classic movement, which feels much better than modern movement in my opinion. But the absolute best thing about Freedom Classic mode is the ability to zoom out so much. So here's a comparison for modern mode. This is how much you can zoom out when you're using the modern camera option. Okay, that's pretty decent, but what about those bosses that have huge arenas, or you just want to see more things? So if you want to be able to have a bird's eye view, let's look at the Freedom Classic camera. Yeah, as you can see, you can basically transform into a bird if you're using this camera. It's just so amazing, and it allows for so much freedom. No pun intended, when you're bossing or basically doing anything. It's just really good, and I don't know how I would play without it, to be honest. So finally, we're gonna go over some action bar settings. Now, a lot of you probably know about most of these, but if not, I'm gonna go over some of them and some of the newer things right now. So the first thing is, of course, a lot of people for some reason ask me on some videos of my layout, how do I get so many action bars? Well, I'm sure a lot of you know this, but obviously some people don't. You can go to display additional action bars and you can actually choose to display them. So as you can see, you can add more action bars. So here's one up here. So yeah, you can basically do this and add how many action bars you want. As you can see, I have 3 down here and then my normal one. You can have up to 4 plus your main action bar. So that's something there. And then something else is you can actually allow incoming share offers. This will allow other players to share their action bar with you. So I can go up to somebody and share my ranged action bar, and it just makes, things a lot easier if you're with a group of people doing a boss and you don't really know how to do it, you don't have an action bar. This can help a lot. And then something that is super good that I use is toggle ability cooldown timer. Now this basically allows you to see a little timer, 10, 9, 8, 7. As you can see, it shows just when my abilities are going to be done cooling down. This is super good for learning, the cooldown times of abilities, and is super helpful for learning like how to switch to full manual from Revolution and stuff like that. So super good settings here. So that's gonna do it for this video. I hope it helped y'all out. If it did, make sure to leave a like, of course. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty fun video. I know some things have changed with action bars and like the settings in general. The ninjas are always, seem to be adding stuff to the settings menu, and it is really a daunting place to go. And when I made my first video basically a year ago, right when I started my channel, there were so many people that didn't know about settings. So I thought this was a great time to make this sort of video. But yeah, like I said, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all in the next video.